Hello, 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 everyone. This is Angel Aviles with Living Firme, and you're listening to another episode of 30 Inspiring Women in 30 Days. Today, I have Miss Soulera 5150. Her name is Arlene Sepulveda. She is a collector of rare music who happened upon her career as a DJ in a very unique way. She's part of the California-based group, the Southern Soul Spinners, where she does various gigs in the LA area. Over the last 7 years, she's spun in Chicago, Las Vegas, and even England. And she's even opened up for various soul artists, including her favorite, Ms. Barbara Mason. One of the reasons that I wanted to have Soulera on was not just because of what she does now, but what her journey has been. Welcome, 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 Soulera. And I start each one of these conversations off asking, what was the culture like in your home? You talk about how your mom, she was a single mom and she had 2 jobs. And talk to me a little bit about growing up.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Angel. Oh, girl. I was born on Fort Lee Army Hospital on the base. My father was in the military at the time. And then she followed him, of course, and then that's where I was born. They're originally from East L.A. We're talking the rivals of Garfield and Roosevelt couple. It's a big thing in East L.A. Their football teams, their high schools, and stuff like that. At 2 years old, that's when my mom brought me back to East L.A., where she's originally from. And then that's when they settled into the San Gabriel Valley. After that, that's when my parents separated, and it was all about my mom. I'm the oldest of 5, minus my younger brother, who was murdered about 8 years ago. So she was basically raising 5 crazy kids where there was no supervision because she was working 2 jobs. So we didn't have that authority figure. And like I said, 5 kids, mind you, 2-bedroom house, 5 kids in 1 bed. That's how we grew up until my mother met my stepfather, which was the man from heaven, because he moved us out of there to Glendora, 5-bedroom house. I mean, we were ecstatic. Yet moving to Glendora, a predominantly white neighborhood, we weren't used to all that. Growing up there in junior high, being called a beaner, a wetback, and all the other things that you had to fight for because you knew you weren't that, it was big time culture shock. But we had to make do, and we had to fight. We had to literally fight. I got kicked out of the high schools. I had to prove myself and show myself and say, hey, you know what? I ain't taking none of you broads crap. So then after they said, okay, we'll fix you, they put me into their Glendora, what you call continuation, where, you could smoke on campus, and we used to sneak in drinks, and, this is high school. And then that's where all of this craziness started coming about. Running away, being drunk, getting caught by the cops, and it just went downhill from there. Started doing bad things and just hanging out with the riffraff of the street. And that's what led me at the age of 20 to be caught, selling narcotics, and it was a thing to do back then. After that, it just escalated and escalated to worse and worse. By the age of 23, I was already sitting in CIW, correctional facility. I was given what you call a joint suspension of 4 years if I do it again, and I did it again. Yeah, I sat in prison for 3 years. You're supposed to only do 2 out of the 4, but I ended up doing the extra year for the riffraff in there, getting caught up with the wrong people in there and doing bad things. And when I was released, I was like, what am I going to do now?
Now, when you got out of prison and you went to look for jobs, what was the process like? What was your mindset?
Well, being in prison, I mean, they don't boost your morale. They just shoot it down and saying, 95% of you come back. When I was released, they would say see you soon. That kind of stuff is just, it's basically uncalled for. Your morale is way down to the ground. You feel like you're less of anything. You're not even a citizen. You can't vote. You're just limited for this parole thing for so long. Finding a job, it was hard because I would go apply places and then I would lie and say, no, I was never convicted of a felony, get hired, 2 weeks in, they come to me and said, we did your background, and they let me go because of that. And I was a hard worker because, when you're proving yourself to people, you got to be 113%. You know what I mean? You can't be any less because you're proving yourself to be that good person. So about the fourth job is when they didn't do a background check, and I was a forklift driver for 12 years.
Wow. And what made you start getting into music?
Music, yeah. See it. Well, being on this 3-year vacation up north, they had this radio station up there. It was called Radio Bilingüe, and they played the oldies on Saturday nights. Now, that was a night that we all kicked back, listened to music, shine up our work boots, write letters, and, do what we do, programming in the prison system. That's where it started. I made a list because, see, back down here in L.A., they didn't play all this underground oldies at all on radio because Art Laveau had us programmed to listen to East Side Story, Volume 1 through 20 or whatever they have. So that's all we knew. So then as I was writing down this list of all this music I've never heard before, I was like beside myself, like, what the heck? Well, there were groups down here, collectors that were putting out CDs like The Lost Souls, Underground Oldies Volume 1 to 3, I believe. And that's when I started getting really into it. When I got released, I was like, I gotta find this stuff. I even took a trip up to Visalia to go see if they had more underground oldies that I could find. So then I just I hit up YouTube. That's when it was very coming strong, and I would type in underground oldies, and bam, all these records started popping up. I was like, what the heck? I got to do this. I got to collect this just for my own private collection. You know what I mean? Soon after, I started adding all the 45 records onto my YouTube. I made a YouTube channel, and then within that first year of collecting this stuff, I was overwhelmed by people writing me and saying, hey, you need to spin this stuff. You need to share this music. And I was like, I'm not a DJ. No, I don't know nothing about DJing, because I've always said that I'm not a DJ. I'm a collector, just sharing the music so that the people don't have to keep hearing I'm Your Puppet, Angel Baby. No disrespect to that music, but still, there's a vast amount of rare underground oldie soul music out there.
One of the things that I felt when I found your YouTube channel was that there's this familiarity because the sounds are so familiar, but then the words are so different. And then there's these subtle changes in the voices, and you're like, who is that? Is that? And then you're like, no, that's not him. And it's just like taking a trip to somewhere nostalgic, but that you've never actually been before.
Right. And you know what? The ironic thing about, people are familiarized with these certain tunes. A lot of rappers use our music for beats. So let's say the Wu-Tang, okay? Wu-Tang came out with a brilliant record. And what they did was they used the Charmel, which was one of the records that I got. They sampled. So what these beat makers do is they sample all this rare soul, and a lot of kids, even my kids, are like, Mom, don't you have this record? That's playing in the background while these young guys are rapping to it. I mean, this stuff is great.
It's like giving new life. It's almost like I think about the heirloom seeds that people in gardening collect, how they want these seeds because they haven't been messed with. They're the original ancient plants. And you sort of do the same thing with music. Speaking of plants, you are a vegan.
Well, what happened was I watched that show, What the Hell. It just broke it down. I mean, what was put into the food and how all these antibiotics and all this stuff was injected into these animals that we eat. You don't have a clue. But after watching that, forget it. I was like, oh, no, can't have that.
And so for many people who think they cannot change, Soulera, who was you describe yourself as a T-Rex.
Yes. I was a modified T-Rex. A year ago, my son came to me, and he says, Mom, I want to be a vegan. I looked at him, and I said, you're crazy. Ain't no vegans here. We eat meat. It took a year. He would bug and say, come on, Mom, watch this or watch that. And I was like, get out of here, because I liked my meat in 3 meals. Breakfast, you'd have the bacon or sausage, and lunch, and, some kind of a lunch meat or something. And dinner was grand steak. Shoot. Now it's, plant-based.
And do you feel better in your body?
Yeah. The first week I kicked the chemicals because people don't realize that with the meat that they're eating, that the chemicals inside of the meat, because they're being injected, it has affected their lives. But now, oh my God, it's just like a big difference. You know what I mean? I have more energy after I eat dinner. I could run around and do things and go places to where before I would just lay on the couch, girl.
You are definitely inspiring. I think when I hear your story and I think about where you have been and what you have done to elevate yourself, we have our saying in For Living Firme is moving adelante. I think you embody that. I love that you are tough. I love that you're tough and you're real and you tell your story the way it happens. You don't sugarcoat. And I also love that you, in your real life, didn't make excuses for yourself. You have a mindset that you can do anything that you put your mind to, and I love that.
Anything. It took time to get where I'm at today. You know what the amazing part is that, I did go to university. I told you I had that 3.75 grade point average. They wanted me to join a sorority. And I was like, what the hell, sorority? No, thanks. You know what I mean? I was just so, I was saying, I always had that mindset of like, let me see if I could do this. Let me see if I could get in there just to see, and I did do it. My major was computer information systems. I was sitting in a classroom with nothing but Asians because we all wanted to be programmers. I never thought I would make it. When I took the entry test, I failed. I failed the math because I didn't know algebra. So I had to go to a city college, and I had to take algebra for 3 months and then go back and reapply for this DeVry University, and come to find out, they said, yeah, you made it. I mean, anybody can do it if they set their mind to it. Now look at me. I own a home. I have a grip of kids now. I thought I would never have a second chance at having babies. You know what I mean? I didn't think that I was worthy enough to move on and make things right. You have to really turn your life around when you're in prison, because you come out of here into society and you don't know where you're going next. But for me, it's been awesome. Every step of the way to improve my life has brought me to where I'm at today. I'll be back in England again. They liked what I did in England in July of 2017. I couldn't ask for anything more in all this whole process.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that you are a living example of someone who took their passion and went with it. You had a passion for the music, and you just let it lead you to a career that you never really set your mind on. You were going into computer engineering.
I was, but just the love of the music just took me to another place, because I was like discovering stuff, and people were sharing their records, and it was like, wow, where did all this come from? And then I just took it from there. And people don't understand these records and how we collect them, via internet, getting a hold of England buddies, private dealers. We spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a record. They're not just like the common oldie out there record where, you pay $10 a record versus what we collect as far as the rare underground soul music. You got collectors that are spending thousands of dollars just for one 7-inch 45 vinyl record.
That's nuts.
Yes, it is nuts, and we are nuts. That's why I'm labeled Soulera 5150. The most I've ever paid for a record was $1,400. It's a crazy life. I didn't expect You have your haters. You got your people that try to look down at you because of your being a female doing this. All I gotta say is, hey, we're just as good as the male gender collector. You know what I mean? And there are a lot of women out there that are coming up in the ranks as far as collecting this rare soul. It's awesome to see the women doing it. I paved that way because I was doing this since 2008. It's been a pretty rocky road too, but now that I've gained that respect, gained all the recognition of being sincere and never stopped, that only made me who I am today.
And who you are is nothing short of amazing. Soulera, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to posting this up and sharing it with our audience. And I can't wait for the ears that are going to hear your story, those women out there who are discouraged in their male-dominated industries, those women who have
everywhere.
Yes. There's women that have been in prison who now have a record, a story of success. And those women who are maybe intimidated to follow their dream, their passion, their love, now they know that sí se puede.